Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. My name is Emma. So glad you're here. If you like what you see, be sure to click the subscribe button down below. And if you guys like today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. I super duper appreciate it, and it means a lot to know that you guys are enjoying the videos that I am creating for you guys. So a couple days ago, I sent out a poll on Instagram asking you guys if you had any video requests for this month. And this video request came up, and so that is why I'm filming it today. But I've also had a lot of questions in the past about our wedding and if I would share tips and things that I wish I'd known before I got married or before we planned our wedding. So today is going to be specifically about wedding planning. I have shared my 3 things I did not expect about marriage. I will link that down below, and it should pop up here on the screen for you guys to watch if that is something that might help you out or that you would be interested in hearing about the things I was surprised about when we got married. But today I'm going to be talking about all the things I wish I'd known before we planned a wedding, because planning a wedding is so much work, so much goes into it, and I was not prepared for a lot of the things that came up, and just some things that I wish I'd known that I would maybe have gone back and done a little bit differently. The first thing I want to talk about is the bridal shower. The normal thing is that your maid of honor or one of your bridesmaids or whatever you choose is kind of the one to plan it. However, my bridal shower was thrown together super last minute. So this all happened when we thought my family would have to leave the country within 2 weeks, and we were really scrambling to try and do as much of the group stuff together before they had to leave. This is when we thought we would have to be having a destination wedding in El Salvador, and all that crazy stuff was happening. That's a story for a completely other day. Anyway, so my bridal shower was thrown together really last minute, and it just so happened that my maid of honor and my bridesmaid, because I only had 2 of them, were both out of the freaking country. So no one was there to plan it. Some family friends stepped up, and with the help of my mom and multiple other people, which I am so grateful for, they pulled together the most beautiful bridal shower in like a week. However, because it was so last minute, a lot of people weren't able to make it, and it ended up being a very intimate and more on the smaller scale of things. So I would recommend having a bit more intimate, maybe keep it on the smaller side, bridal shower, and really bring people who mean a lot to you. Your wedding day is kind of where you invite everyone. You invite anyone who's ever kind of been a part of your life. I feel like the wedding day is something that you can share with a lot more people. However, bridal showers can be a lot more intimate. At my bridal shower, it was so special that people were crying at my bridal shower. It just was the best night ever. It was probably my favorite part of the entire wedding planning process was my bridal shower. It was just such a special evening to be around so many good friends and women who have been like mothers to me or who have been like mentors or just people I've grown up with, and I loved it. It can just be really, really special to share that exciting time in your life with those who mean literally the most to you. And if you have a lot of people who are nearest and dearest to you, then awesome, but I would definitely keep it on a more personal level when it comes to your bridal shower. The second thing I want to talk about is, this one's a little bit hard, but you're going to have a lot of opinions. From day one of being engaged, opinions are going to be coming in all the freaking time, whether it's from your in-laws, your grandparents, your friends, or just anyone. You're going to have random people who you didn't even know knew you were getting married coming up to you and telling you how you should plan your wedding. It's just going to happen. And I think one of the most important things to do, well, there's 2 things. The first, keep communication with you and your fiance top priority and keep it very open and clear. Make sure that you are telling your fiance what you dream of this day looking like. Make sure you are clear with what you want. And then if they need to go talk to the in-laws, or if they need to go talk to that friend, or if they need to be the one to say no to someone's opinion, maybe let them do that. For me, Rodolfo was that for me. We would have a lot of different opinions coming in, and I was not keen on all of them. And I was super no, if I really don't want that to be a part of my wedding, or I really just I don't want that. And we didn't want some other things too. I think it's important to not become selfish about your wedding, but remember that it's his wedding too. And it's important to keep it clear what you both want as a couple. And the second thing is just be patient. Remember that opinions come out of love. If your in-laws are telling you opinions, if your friends are telling you opinions, or your parents are telling you opinions that you don't necessarily love and you're just not feeling like anyone's catching your vision, just remember that at the end of the day, it's because they love you, they want to help, and they are there. So instead of getting frustrated, burning bridges with family members or friends is never a good idea. And I feel like it can be so easy to have that happen around a wedding because everyone is at a high stress level and you're at the highest stress level. For us, we planned a wedding in 3 months. We did not have a ton of time, and it was like go, go, go from day one of getting engaged. Would not change it for the world. Absolutely loved those 3 months of wedding planning. But because of that, there was a lot of things that were happening all at once, and it was a very high stress time for me and for everyone else too, right? Because everyone wants to help. And so just be patient and remember that if someone gives you an opinion that you don't necessarily want a part of your wedding, just maybe in a kind way, just let them know, thank you so much for your opinion or for that idea. I'll keep it in mind. But right now we do have something in mind. Just make sure to thank them for their opinion and then move on. I wish that I dealt with a lot of situations a lot differently. I got very frustrated with a lot of opinions that were coming in, and I think that I definitely could have handled it a lot better. If I could go back, that would be one thing I would tell myself, is just to be patient and remember that all opinions, they do come out of love, and that there's a loving way to tell someone no. The next thing, and I touched on this a little bit in my last point, is to remember that it's not just about you. You are important as the bride. Yes, your opinion does matter. Often as the bride, we as little girls have been dreaming up our wedding since we were little, and this is something that is so important to us, and we want this day to be so special and so perfect. But we also need to remember that our spouse, it's also their special day, and this day is just as important to them as it is to you. And so make sure that you have communication about what is important to him and what is important to you. For us, Rodolfo did let me kind of take charge in a lot of our wedding planning because he understood that a lot of things were going to be more important to me than they would be for him. For example, the decor was a lot more important to me, getting it very specific, than it was necessarily for him. However, there were certain things he really wanted. Food was a big thing. And so for us, we ended up choosing that we had 2 receptions, which worked out really well. One reception we did with a lot more of the things that he wanted, and then the second reception we did with a lot more of the things that I wanted. That was just really lucky how that turned out. If you're only having one reception, there's going to have to be some compromise. You're going to have to be okay with letting a few of the things that you want go and incorporating some of the things that maybe you couldn't care less about, but that your spouse or your future spouse really cares about. Rodolfo really cared about having a sit-down dinner. I could not care less about having a sit-down dinner. I did not want to have a sit-down dinner. However, we did. It was amazing food in the end. I really enjoyed it, and I know that all of our guests are grateful that we fed them a delicious meal. And so it wasn't a big deal in the end, right? There's no need to fight about it. There's no need to argue. It simply is, you're just gonna have to find a happy compromise. Next thing is to lower your expectations. Like I was talking about, we as women, we like dream up our wedding our entire life, and sometimes we have this grand thing of what it's gonna look like, and then we see celebrities get married, or we see this Instagrammer get married, and we're like, oh my gosh, like they had a food truck, and they had a photo booth in a van, and they had all of these fancy things. I need that sparkler exit, definitely. You need to do this at this time, and it can seem like so orchestrated and so perfect. And then we start planning our wedding, and we suddenly realize how expensive everything is. We suddenly realize how unrealistic a lot of the things are, and we realize how much time and effort is going to go into it. And maybe that's just not your reality. For us, we had a fairly small budget for our wedding, and we did not have a lot of extra money for our wedding, and it ended up being pulled together so beautifully, but on a pretty small scale budget, especially for what people spend on weddings nowadays. We were very fortunate. We did not have to pay for our venue. We were married in an LDS temple, which is free. And then we had our reception in our church cultural hall. So we were very fortunate that both of our venues for our ceremony and our receptions were both free. That took off a huge expense. However, things are still expensive, and weddings are expensive. If you want the food truck, if you want the photo booth, I wanted a photo booth so bad at our wedding, but it was so expensive, and it was just like, well, is it photo booth or do we feed people? Those sorts of things kind of came down to our reality. And so lowering your expectations. Now, when I say lower your expectations, I don't mean throw everything you want out the window and just be okay with wearing a paper bag and hating your wedding day. Absolutely not. There's got to be a fine balance. This needs to be your special day, and you need to splurge on some of those things that you're never going to have the chance to again. So I would recommend choosing 3 to 5 things that are really important to you. For me, some of the top important things were I wanted to have a good photographer that I would trust giving us high quality photos, because photography and photos are so important to me. And I knew that if we cheaped out on a photographer and I wasn't happy, I would regret it for years and years to come, because these are photos we're going to have forever. And then second, I really, really wanted a videographer. I've always known I wanted to have a video of our wedding because, again, I'm obsessed with video, and I just think it's such a nice, it just brings your wedding day to life. So that is where we spent the most time and the most money, was on our priority items. And then for Rodolfo, again, his priority item was food. And so we did have a sit down meal for one of our receptions. And so choose your top priorities, invest your time and money into those, and then be okay with the other things falling to the side. Next is to create lists on your phone or on a pen and paper for what you need to do every single month. So depending on how many months you have up until your wedding planner books often give you this option if you have like a binder or whatever. I had one, didn't really use it. I just kind of used my phone notes to keep track of things. But what I would do is I would go onto my phone and then I would create a note and I would make one for every single month. So I had January, February, and March. So we got engaged first week of January, we got married the last week of March. So it was not that long amount of time. So I had a lot to do every single month, but it really helped me stay a little bit stress-free and helped me focus on what I needed to do instead of getting overwhelmed with all the things I needed to do. So for example, for February, I had, okay, I need to find my hair and makeup artist. I need to book it. I need to do some trials. I need to find my wedding dress was my top one in January. I needed to do that. And I just like had my list of things so that I knew every single month what I have to get done. So obviously for us, we had month 1, month 2, and then month 3. And so I would prioritize everything that we needed to do for every single month. And then I would create a little tick box so I could tick it off as it went along. And that really helped me to stay focused and to not forget little things. Even something as simple as I wanted to write Rodolfo a letter to give to him before we got married. And so I made sure to write that down, write a letter to Rodolfo. And that was in the 3rd month so that I would have it prepared, or just little things like that. Even something as small as, oh, remember to show the photographer this particular picture that I really want taken. Anything small that you're like, I might forget on the day of, just write it down. Write every single thing down because you will forget. And so write it down the minute you think of it, whether you're in the shower, going to the bathroom, I don't care where you are. When you think of it, grab your phone and write it down because you will forget and there's so much on your mind. Write those things down so you don't forget those little things that are going to be important to you. Next is to do a makeup and hair trial day. This is so important. I honestly can't believe that there are brides out there who just hire someone and don't do a trial and just day of trust that this person is going to do your hair and makeup how you want it to be. I had such an amazing makeup artist and she also did my hair at the same time and it worked out beautifully. And I am so grateful that we took a day to play around with different looks. The first time that we did the makeup trial, like the first makeup look she tried on me, I was like, oh, it looks pretty, but it's not what I want for my wedding. And so we were able to play around with it. And then even up until the wedding day, I would message her and be like, okay, you know how we did this? Can we change that? And we had such a good open communication up until the wedding. That day of, I'd almost completely changed my mind on what I wanted. And she was able to do it because she already knew my skin, she knew my hair. And I feel like it's just like, you're able to build a relationship before the wedding day. And like having my makeup artist there was so much fun because we'd already spent a day together and gotten to know each other and kind of broken the ice, that she was just like part of the family that day and we were all laughing and having such a good time. Definitely do a makeup and hair trial day, especially if you're not sure what looks you think will look good on you or what will suit your wedding. Definitely take time to try out 1 to 2 hairstyles, 1 to 2 makeup looks. Maybe do a lighter makeup look, a darker makeup look, a fancier or more casual hair. Try out those things. Yes, it costs more money, but it is 100% worth it. It just makes everything run smoothly on the wedding day. Anyway, that is the end of today's video. I hope that it was helpful for all of you bride-to-bes. Congratulations on this exciting next chapter of your life. I hope that wedding planning goes well for you. If you have any more questions or have any more things you want to ask about planning a wedding or what I'd wish I'd known, please feel free to slide into my DMs on Instagram, comment down below, any of those things. Either way, I love you guys. Hope today's video was helpful for all of you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!